Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Sarah from Fantagram, and you're listening to Zero Dark Nerdy. Boom.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network, the number one podcast network for professionals out there. This is your boy Brian, a.k.a. El Nino, and today I'm joined with
Ryan Saba, Captain Cleveland, Browns, Cavs, Indians, 4-2 Browns, by the way, on the road to a playoff berth, so CLE till I die.
and back by popular demand, we have the one and only
Il Mama. So great to be back.
So good to have you back. We have missed you, COVID. Damn you, COVID, for doing this to us.
Fucking COVID.
Well, today we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to be talking about some romantic comedies, a.k.a. Rom Coms, some favorites, least favorites, characters, scenes, all that fun stuff. And then towards the end there, we're going to pick a random actor and actress that we would have star in our movie if we were to direct.
I got a whole cast.
I bet you do. I expect
and
nothing
here I
less.
thought I was the pro.
I got it all laid. Look, I love love, man. What can I say?
Dr. Love in the building. But, it has been a while, Nicole. Why don't we go ahead and kick it off with you?
Well, why don't you tell them what we brought today as our essentials?
Jesus.
She was nice enough to bring a bottle of rosé. Yes way rosé. We got some Ben & Jerry's chocolate chip cookie dough chunks. And some brownies.
Yes.
The essentials.
The romance is here.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Can you feel it?
I feel it.
I love these snacks. I'll tell you that.
The NFL season is in full swing. You might not be at the game this year, but you can still be in on the action at BetOnline. This week, I'm going to be taking the Giants, coming off a tough loss against a very good Tampa Bay Bucks team, getting plus 3 points against the Washington football team. From game spreads and totals to team, player, and coaching props, BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any place online. And there is always the online casino as well. It never closes. So head to betonline.ag today and take full advantage of all the great sign-up bonuses. Again, that's betonline.ag and sign up today. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.
So, rom-coms.
Let's do it.
I have too many favorites.
I think we all do.
Too many favorites. I mean, and I can't really put them in a particular order. So I'm just gonna.
You do your thing, El Mama.
All right.
You do your thing.
Listen, there's no rules to this.
Yeah, you've been on our podcast. You know what we're about. You're part of the team here.
So in no particular order, Breakfast at Tiffany's is one of those ones that I can sit and watch by myself, do my ugly face cry. Mm-hmm. You laugh, you cry. It's kind of part of the rom-com deal, right? Mm-hmm. 10 Things I Hate About You was one of my favorites in high school. 50 First Dates. That one never gets old for me.
Ever.
That's one that makes me cry.
Aww.
A little bit. At the end when they're on the boat and he does the video for her every day. I mean, just talking about it kind of, that's true love, man.
It is.
It's great. I love that movie.
Deadpool probably made me laugh more than anything, and I consider it a rom-com.
You know what? I never really thought about it, but you're absolutely. It is.
It kind of is.
There's no question.
It's definitely action adventure, but there's some romantic parts, and it's fucking hilarious.
No doubt.
So that's a rom-com to me.
And I love her.
Yeah.
She is
smoking.
Yes, I love her.
She got them things.
Yeah, she got all of them. She's All That was one that was kind of a game changer for me too. Grease, I would consider a rom-com.
Yeah. One of my favorite musicals.
And I loved it, yes. Zach and Miri Make a Porno is probably one of the more risque, but still has the characters and the lovies and all the funnies.
Great cast too.
And then Always Be My Maybe is probably the more recent one, I think.
I don't think I've seen that one.
You would love it. It's
Is it a Netflix movie? Like, is
is.
it Always Be My Maybe?
Oh, that was with the guy who was Asian Jim in The Office. And then the girl, she's got a stand-up special that she did while she was pregnant. I can't think of her name, but I watched it and I fell asleep, not because it was bad. It was literally late. I was a little tipsy, but from what I saw, I really, really enjoyed it.
I'm going to tell
good
you.
call on that. Good call on that.
I'm Googling.
I think his name is Randall Park, right?
Yep.
And her name is Ali Wong.
Yep.
They're an adorable couple.
Yeah.
So cute.
I haven't seen this, but I am watching it.
You
Mark it
absolutely
down.
should.
No, I'm watching it tonight.
Oh, I know.
It even has the one and only Keanu Reeves.
I love this.
Yes, that's right. How can I forget that? He does make a great cameo in the movie. Good call.
Yeah,
Forgot about the Netflix.
So those are my, I think, the ones that stand out the most for me when it comes to rom-com. I don't know, like romantic comedies, they have certain aspects that are required to make a really good one.
Yeah.
I like it.
You have to have an endearing and romantic guy who can or cannot be good looking. He doesn't have to be real good looking.
Sure.
And then you have the female who is relatable and adorable, can be hot, doesn't have to be hot.
Jennifer Aniston.
There you go. Well, yeah.
Right? I mean, but think about it. She's sort of the...
I was like, are you saying she's not?
No, she kind of plays the same character in all the romantic comedies that she's in, and it's that character right there. Very relatable, very likable, bubbly. The every woman. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100% there.
And then the chemistry. You know, you have to
chemistry,
love,
undeniable.
love the couple. And, you know, some rom-coms don't really do so well because the chemistry's not there and they're just kind of all.
There's got to be some kind of adversity too, right? Like...
The girl's a nerd and the guy's popular, the rich or poor.
Right?
Yeah, there's got to be a little something.
Overcome
Correct.
some kind of roadblock or adversity or something that really... no romantic comedy is just sort of a straight shot from we met, we fall in love,
right?
Everything's great. There's
distance.
There's an ex-wife. There's kids. You know what I mean? There's something that is always kind of in the way from them being, you know, completely happy, and they have to overcome it. And sometimes they don't. Right? I mean, there are romantic comedies, and I will talk about one on my list where, you know, sometimes the couple doesn't get together at the end.
I mean, it's still funny though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Love it.
Yeah, you're right. It's more than just the meet cute. It's not just the moment that they meet. It's something happens between then and the end where either brings them together or it tears them apart.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
what are your favorites? Now I'm curious.
Sound effect.
I love romantic comedies, and I'm not afraid to admit it as a guy.
It's a real man.
Yeah, I did make a list of, like, maybe not, they're my favorites. You know what I mean? They may not be like critically acclaimed or have a lot of reception. Some of them do, but there's one or two on here that maybe doesn't. So we'll start with number 5.
Like it.
Actually, we're gonna start with my honorable mention.
There you go.
Because I forgot some. 500 Days of Summer is a movie that very sort of dark romantic comedy.
It really is.
You know, very sad. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is great in that. The Proposal, when you heard me go, oh, fuck, I forgot one. The Proposal is definitely on my list. Ryan Reynolds, Sandra Bullock.
Good movie.
Love that movie.
I forgot about that one.
Where
Good
they
choice.
go to where he's
Alaska.
like Alaska. Love that.
Well, I thought it
movie.
was Canada because didn't he? She
No.
named her.
No, you remember it was light when she went to bed?
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
You know, Craig T. Nelson coaches the dad.
Right.
Oh my God, I love that movie. But my number one honorable mention, movie came out in 2013, Begin Again. Have you guys ever seen it? It's with Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley. Adam Levine's in it. Mark Ruffalo's like this down on his luck music executive that finds, like, he's, you know, on his last dollar, he's in a bar drinking. He hears this voice on stage. It's her. She's kind of up and coming. She's dating the rock star Adam Levine, who's like out on tour. It is a fucking phenomenal movie. It's called Begin Again. It is great.
I will be watching that tonight.
There you go.
And I believe it is on Netflix possibly, or one of the streaming platforms. If you have not seen Begin Again, it is phenomenal.
I'll find
right.
you.
Number 5.
I'll find you.
That was what I left off. The Wedding Crashers.
My Best Friend's Wedding. Great cast, 1997, Julia Roberts, Cameron Diaz, Dermot Mulroney, Rupert Everett.
I love that.
Rupert
movie.
Everett stole the show in that. And kind of what I have written down here is, I could be wrong, right? But in my mind, he's sort of the first like gay bestie in romantic comedy, and he absolutely crushed it. And I think he sort of created that type of character, and he did a really great job there. You know, they don't end up together. You know, they don't end up together.
That is true.
It's a story about friendship that, you know, turns into desire when he tells her that he's getting married, and then, you know, this friendship that they've had for such a long time, it turns into her like, oh my God, I don't want to be alone. I think I love him kind of thing. And it's that whole, it's a great movie. You know, Julia Roberts, similar to Jennifer Aniston, has that character that she plays in romantic comedies. I think was great in that movie. Sexy, strong, you know, kind of fierce in a way. Dermot Mulroney's kind of this soft, you know, he's just a nice, great guy, you know, very likable. And then Cameron Diaz is that sort of like hot, like, ooh, I hate her kind of.
I don't know. She was kind of ditzy and.
You know what? But yeah, you know what I mean? But she, you know, she kind of not the audience hates her, right? The audience doesn't want him to marry her. He wants him to get with Julia Roberts' character. So My Best Friend's Wedding's number 5. Number 4. This is not going to be a crowd favorite. You know, it's a movie called Boomerang. It came out in 1992. Have you ever seen Boomerang?
I don't think so.
It's got Eddie Murphy. It's got Halle Berry, and it's got Robin Givens. And also in supporting roles, Martin Lawrence is in it. Chris Rock plays the mail boy. David Alan Grier fucking kills it in that movie. It's. Have you seen it, Brian?
Yeah, so funny story. It is a great movie.
Well,
Great
you were
cast.
looking at me like a deer in the headlights. Like, I'm like, oh, man, has nobody seen this?
I have seen it, and it is a great film. And to that point, it was actually the first sex scene I've ever seen when I was a little like young buck.
Good sex
scene.
Really?
You know, it's not like porn or anything, but it was just like, oh, wow, okay. It was, you know, Skinamax.
Eddie Murphy plays this Playboy marketing executive that kind of meets his match in Robin Givens. She's sort of the female version of him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's falling for the nice girl, the right girl, and Halle Berry. She's like this artist and works with kids. I mean, great movie, great fucking soundtrack. PM Dawn. I can't even, just a phenomenal soundtrack on that movie. Number 3, Crazy Rich Asians.
I've actually yet to see that.
That's
Dude,
really good.
I know. I need to
Candace
watch
Wu, Henry Golding, Aquafina, she's great in it. It's a story of wealth. It's a story of tradition. It's a story of stereotypes.
Asian culture.
Yeah, it's a story of just true love. Like how much, when you grow up in this world of affluence, he's very rich, but he hides his wealth, and his family has these plans for him, but he sees things differently, and he finds this girl who grew up poor, not poor, but, you know, she was, you know,
Struggle. Her mom.
yeah, her mom struggled. And he, you know, even though he had all these sort of values of tradition and stereotypes and all that instilled in him, he sees her for who she really is. It is a great movie.
It is. My kids ask to watch it all the time.
That's awesome.
It's a great movie, and it's a different movie.
Can I tell you, when the wedding scene happened, when they're actually at the wedding and then the water just flows up, I get like, all my face starts to melt.
Yes.
I start to cry because it's so hit.
It's crazy,
romantic.
but it's different because there's no white people in the movie, right? Like, and I mean that in the greatest sense of the word, because when you see Hollywood movies, it's our romantic comedies in general. There's a very formulaic piece to it, and it's not a group of Asians, and I believe they're in Singapore or
they're in Seoul.
I can't remember where they're at. Maybe you're right.
You might be right.
I don't know, but it's great. Brian, you got to watch it. Crazy Rich Asians. It's phenomenal. Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
That one kind
Love
of
it.
makes me uncomfortable a lot when I'm watching it.
With the dick, when he's swinging his dick around.
Surprisingly not that part.
It's a breakup movie. It's a breakup movie. It's a comedy. It's a love story, kind of all wrapped into one. The dialogue is golden. It's extremely rewatchable. The whole Dracula musical thing.
Oh my gosh, it.
Look, Mila Kunis is. I love Courtney Jones, and I would never not want to be with her. But like Mila Kunis is probably the one that, like, if she was just like, Ryan, I gotta have you, I'd be like, listen, baby, I love you, but I can't do that.
Mila needs me right now.
Mila needs me. I'm doing it for the culture, man. It's just a phenomenal movie. It's so over the top yet real at the same time, because we've all been through breakups, and this idea of, okay, I'm going to go on vacation to kind of get over this breakup, and then your girl's at that place. It's outstanding. Russell Brand is phenomenal in the role as Aldous Snow. Jonah Hill is sort of that creepy, Paul Rudd.
Yeah. The surfing instructor.
Oh, yes.
The scene where they all have dinner together at the double date where they're all trying to one up each other. It's a great movie. I'm sure most people have seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall. If you haven't, you'll absolutely love it. Number one, The American President.
All right.
Is probably one of my favorite movies. Michael Douglas, Annette Bening, Martin Sheen's in it. Richard Dreyfuss. We talked about him earlier before when we were talking about What About Bob. It's for those of you who haven't seen The American President, came out in 1995. It's a story of this widowed president who falls in love with a lobbyist. An environmental lobbyist. Now, when I say it like that, it doesn't sound very,
sold.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very great. But Michael J. Fox is in the movie too. Michael Douglas absolutely kills it. It's very touching. There's serious moments. They touch on serious issues. He's running for re-election. He has this daughter. He's a widower. He's the president. The president has a girlfriend. Is kind of the whole backdrop of the story. There's this very sort of real scene when, after he goes on his first date with Sydney Ellen Wade, which is Annette Bening's character's name, he wants to get her flowers, but he's the president. And the president doesn't have a wallet or credit cards or whatever. So he calls the flower shop and he's like, yes, this is, I forget his Andrew. I forget his last name, but he's like, this is Andrew so-and-so. And they're like, who? And he's like, yes, it's the president. And they hang up on him. And he calls back and or whatever, but he ends up not getting her flowers. She's from Virginia, so he gets her a Virginia ham. It's just a whole very touching, great movie, touches on serious issues, environment, gun control, all kinds of things. But the love story in it is just great. So that is my list.
That's a good list right there. I forgot which one is the hand clapping one. Nope. I don't remember what it is. Fuck it. I'm done with the sound pad today.
Hey, do me a favor. Learn the fucking buttons.
I'm trying to.
You know what you should do? You should label them.
I know I should.
Well,
yeah, you get the air horn. You'll get the air horn.
I mean, who would have thought of just putting labels on?
There it is.
A woman's touch. There you go.
That's what we've been missing, is a woman's touch.
Absolutely.
Don't you forget it.
My list is going to be a little unconventional because I have honorable mentions. I got this, that, and the other. So let me go ahead and start off with two actors who have done multiple romantic comedies, and I'm just going to go with like my top 3 for each. First and foremost, John Cusack, kind of like the king of 80s rom-coms, even in the 90s too, with movies like Serendipity and things like that.
Love that movie.
Such a cute, great movie. And again, another one where
is that Kate Beckinsale in that with him?
Jeremy Piven is the best friend.
Yes, he is.
And the
book, he goes around looking for the book, right?
Yep.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
Great movie. Check out Serendipity. I believe that one is like constantly on Netflix. Like it's never going to be off Netflix. But some of my favorites, my top 3 for Cusack is going to be Better Off Dead is one of my favorites. Kind of like the deadbeat trying to get the girl, and he's skiing, and I think Bobcat Goldthwait was also in the movie, and that's the whole the newspaper boys chasing him. I want my $2.
Oh my God.
I have not seen that movie in a long time.
It's been a while. Say Anything, of course, the scene, where In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel's playing in the boombox. He's outside the girl's window. Kind of like the iconic, like if there's an image for rom-coms, it's that image.
That one, yeah, definitely.
That or either an image of Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. And then first and foremost, I got to go with High Fidelity. Fantastic movie. I think it came out in either 99 or 2000. Great cast with Jack Black and who was it? Not Zoe Kravitz.
No, she's in the show.
She's in the show.
And she was like 11 when that movie.
Right. Yeah. So not Zoe. But what is it? Monet. It was one that was like originally married to Lenny Kravitz.
It's Zoe Kravitz's mom.
Right. I just can't think of her name.
Lisa Bonet.
That's it. Thank you, Saba. The resident fact checker for me. Great movie, especially if you love music, hence the name High Fidelity. He owns a record store. He's trying to figure out where his kind of love life has gone wrong. So he goes back to like his former exes. Catherine Zeta-Jones is one of them. Yeah. I'm having a hard time with the other ones, but great, just rom-com in general. Funny, sad. Tim Robbins plays the douche who was dating his current ex-girlfriend, and he plays a fantastic douchebag in that movie.
Dude, Tim Robbins, just as a side note, Tim Robbins is so underrated for how good he's good in everything.
He really is.
He's good in everything.
He really is. And then my second actor is going to be Adam Sandler. Yeah. My top 3, you already mentioned 50 First Dates. Wedding Singer is just a classic.
Yes.
I mean, the chemistry between him and Drew Barrymore is just fantastic. Now, that being said, I know they have a third called Blended. I've yet to see Blended. I don't know if you guys have seen it. So, because when I was doing the research, I was like, oh yeah, they did another kind of rom-com, but I don't think that one was as well received as the other two.
I've sort of gotten off Adam Sandler for a while. It's been like.
Have you seen Hubie Halloween?
I heard that was good.
I'll watch it. It's on Netflix, right?
I'm I'll watch that tonight. You're like the 7th person that told me it was good.
I'm going to be Hubie's mom for Halloween, guys.
I'll watch it.
We'll check it out.
You're going to love it.
And then my favorite one, to be quite honest with you, is Just Go With It with Jennifer Aniston, Nick Swardson. It is just awesome. He plays this plastic surgeon who got his heart broken in the beginning of it. Then he's a playboy. He has this wedding ring that ends up with this hot chick. But
Brooklyn Decker.
Yes. And then Jennifer Aniston is like his assistant. But honestly, to me, it's probably one of his funniest romantic comedies, period.
Another one is Punch Drunk Love. It's kind of a dark comedy. There's a line in that movie. Who is the woman in that movie with him? I can't remember. But there's this line in that movie that resonates with me. They're laying in bed. She's like on top of him. Like they're just kind of like loving each other, right? And he's like, "You're so beautiful. I want to punch you in the face." Right?
Who said romance?
Emily Watson. Yeah, but that's so real. It's just like, God, like I think that you are so amazing that it creates this aggressive action, right? Like, oh my God, that resonates with me very strongly.
Excellent choice there, Saba. I love that. A couple honorable mentions, and then I'm just going to go with kind of like the ones that, and my list is more like if it's on TV, I don't care if I'm at a bar, I'm at home, I'm watching it. Hopefully, if I'm at a bar, there's closed captioning on. Honorable mentions, another Netflix one with Adam Devine, the guy from Alcoholics. I think I'm messing his name up, is When We First Met. It's him with our girl from True Detective, Alexandria Daddario. Awesome. It's kind of like he ends up going into this kissing booth or whatever, and then he goes back in time to try to make sure the girl falls in love with him, that kind of thing.
It's good.
It's good. It's definitely an honorable mention. Going the Distance with another Drew Barrymore one with her and Justin Long. They meet in New York. She has to move back to San Francisco. They're trying to do the long distance thing. Again, a fantastic cast.
Scene from that movie when they're fucking on the table and they get caught in
Jim Gaffigan.
And Kelly Bundy, right?
Yep.
Is it Kelly Bundy?
Yep. Christina Applegate.
Yeah, Christina Applegate.
Yep.
And then the end credits, it's the kids walk in on the parents fucking on the kitchen table.
It is a really good, really funny romantic comedy that has its ups and downs. All right, so besides that, this is my list of ones. If they're on, I'm watching it. 13 going on 30. 2004, Jennifer Gardner, Mark Ruffalo, our boy. It's kind of like Big. Well, I guess it'd be the opposite of Big.
It is.
Well, no, it is like Big.
It is big.
Yeah, it is Big. It's Big, but a female version of it. She wishes to be older, and then she wakes up 30 as
30
this
flirty.
30 and flirty. That's right. Coming to America.
Yeah.
1988, Eddie Murphy. I can't think of the love interest name, but I mean,
She never did anything else.
I don't think she did. Maybe I don't even know if she's even going to be in the sequel, to be honest with you. Which we just found out that the sequels got picked up by Amazon,
and it'll be out in December.
It'll be out in December. So Coming to America 2 coming out. Besides that, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
Love it.
Oh, I love that
2008.
Love that
Michael
movie.
Cera, Kat Dennings. Again, soundtracks are a big part of movies to me. And I wish that movies, that's the one thing I do miss about movies nowadays. They don't really give a shit about the soundtracks as much as they did from really even the 70s, like the 70s all the way up to the mid 2000, even 2010. But after that, I feel like soundtracks have just dropped off on films.
Yeah.
So
Love Nick and Nora, man.
I do too.
such a great movie.
movie.
Crazy Stupid Love, 2011.
Yeah.
Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Julianne Moore, Emma Stone. Another fantastic film. I think I watched that movie literally just for fashion tips from Ryan Gosling.
Dude,
The guy looks
he's
amazing in every
fucking
scene.
ridiculous, man. To be that effortlessly good looking. I feel like
Seriously.
he rolls out of bed like that.
I'm sure he does.
Jesus fucking Christ. Come on, dude.
This is probably one of the more unusual romantic comedies that's been out in a while. Silver Linings Playbook. Bradley Cooper, Jennifer Lawrence, Robert De Niro. I know I may be a homer because they're Eagles fans in the movie, but it's a great story about a guy who has PTSD and just trying to get his life together. And same thing with Jennifer Lawrence too. It's just two individuals,
Broken people.
Yeah, two broken people just picking up the pieces together.
That's a good one.
And then I will honorable mention going out to the water cooler over here. To me, my favorite sports rom-com, Bull Durham, 1988.
Good one. Fever Pitch. Fever Pitch is
Waterboy.
another good one. Waterboy. I really like Fever Pitch. That would probably be. Oh man, Bull Durham. Bull Durham's kind of a romantic comedy.
It is, a little bit. But that's my sports rom-com. And big shout out to Vince Vaughn too. He's been in a few. You already mentioned Wedding Crashers earlier, but The Breakup, him and Jennifer Aniston, to me one of the funniest rom-coms. And they don't
Not a
end
well
up.
received one either.
It wasn't well received. And I don't know why. To be honest,
It's tough
with you.
though.
Yeah,
That's another one similar. So Forgetting Sarah Marshall's kind of over the top with The Breakup. The Breakup is that is a breakup. When you go through it, you're still living with the person.
Right.
Super complex. When he has the strippers or whatever there and she comes home just to kind of piss her off. This whole, and at the beginning of that movie, I want you to want to do the dishes.
Right.
Very common fight between couples.
Right.
And very relatable. I've been working all day. I just want to play some PlayStation. Come on, just help me clean up. And it basically sets this chain of events that leads to the breakup. But she's right. She's like, I just want you to want to do the dishes. Right. And I think we all kind of go through that a little bit in our own relationships. It's not about actually the act of doing something. It's about just us as a relationship coming together. Both of us don't want to do this, right? But let's just kind of get it done. So very relatable. We've all been through it. I think it's very realistic, and it's hard to watch for me, to be honest. I can watch the beginning of it, when they meet at the baseball game or whatever, and he's and he basically just tells her she's coming on a date with him or whatever while she's on a date with somebody else. Very relatable beginnings, great, but once things start to go off the rails a little bit, it gets a little hard to watch.
Agreed. I mean, I think you nailed it on the head there. It is probably one of the most realistic rom-coms. And the funny parts are funny, but the shitty parts are shitty.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's moments like when they went bowling and it's a thing too. It's not just the two people, it's everyone around them too, and you don't want them to pick sides, but at the same time, sides are being taken and it's rough. I mean, I think we've all kind of been at the end of that in breakups before.
One of the greatest lines in a movie of all time, him and his brother are out at the club and he's like, maybe you get laid tonight or maybe you get arrested. Arrested for what, babe? Being awesome? Fucking love that.
Yeah. Yep. And then his other brother is
D'Onofrio.
Yep.
But I can't remember. So his brother's the dude from Dazed and Confused. He was the bad guy in
almost everything.
In Fast and the Furious 2.
Yep.
The one in Miami with Paul Walker. I can't Cole something, I think.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's great.
Yep.
Great.
But that kind of rounds out my list. So I guess moving forward, are we going to do...
Arrested for what, babe? Being awesome?
And then what does he even tell the girl before
He's going to wrap her in saran wrap and just pop a hole in her mouth and like her vagina.
Right. Yeah. For what? Being awesome, babe?
Arrested for what, babe? Being awesome?
I've got to put that line in this fucking episode.
So. You get arrested. Arrested for what, babe? Being awesome? Come on, babe. Listen, you want to tell your jokes.
So my least favorite, I've got a couple. So when you think about what makes a good rom-com, like we talked about earlier, it's the characters and their chemistry. Mm-hmm. One thing and this is kind of leading into like a pet peeve thing for me, is in The Ugly Truth. So I don't like the story. Okay, it's kind of cute. Gerald Butler is fucking annoying in that movie. It's like I know what the goal is there, but he was such a mouth breather and I couldn't stand watching him.
Just very, very broy.
He's that affliction dude.
Yeah, he
very
was that
broy.
affliction dude.
Yeah.
Yes, he was very loud, obnoxious, afraid of his own feelings, and he just had a very open mouth the whole time, pretty much.
Mouth breather.
Such a mouth breather. Second is Never Been Kissed. Okay, I like the movie, but it's just so cringy. Cringy because like she goes undercover in a high school and then she falls in love with her teacher falls in love with her. Yeah. Cringy. And her character's personality was just like, you just want to like, oh, it was just a constant like, oh, you're so awkward.
Probably couldn't make that movie today. That's a little bit controversial subject matter there.
Very much. And then anything with Hilary Duff. No offense to anyone who loves her. I love her. Actually, she's gorgeous. She's a beautiful woman. Mm-hmm. But her rom-coms with her as a teenager were just like very twitchy and kind of like, I don't know. She just made it kind of awkward.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I'm 100% backing you on all that.
I don't have any beef with any of that.
Oh, good. Coming from
I need COVID to go away so you can come back more often.
I'm here.
So for me, I want to say this first. When Brian walked in the door, I'm like, I can't come up with romantic comedies that I don't like.
Aww,
right? I really love them all. So I will say that there's some that I think are a little overrated. And this is going to be controversial. I'm going to tell you right now.
He loves love, but he loves controversy.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Let me say one thing. Similar to your Hilary Duff, Amy Schumer, I just don't get it.
Thank you.
I don't get it. So anything that she's been in, I've never really been a fan of. So, I mean, I know a lot of people love her and I'm not faulting anybody that does. She doesn't do it for me. So that's one name I have written down there. But the two that I think are a little bit overrated and a lot of people really love them. And I'm just Pretty Woman. I mean, it's a good movie or whatever, but it's not one of those movies when it comes on, I have to watch it.
I absolutely have to watch it.
Right.
I don't know. Relatable. It's not relatable at all.
Yeah, just sort of the rich guy and the hooker. I don't know. Like, I get
relatable.
It. You know.
Hey, let me preface with that was her first night as a hooker. Okay, so
I know. Listen. I love Julia Roberts. I love Richard Gere. It's one of those movies that I think a lot of people like, and I'm not. It's not high on my list as it is for other people. The other one is When Harry Met Sally. Again, I love Billy Crystal. I love Meg Ryan, but it's just another, our boy Kleiber. That's like his favorite movie.
Well, he's a huge Billy Crystal fan
right?
too.
And it's just, if it's on TV, I've probably seen Pretty Woman twice. I've probably seen When Harry Met Sally maybe twice as well. So it's just that they're movies that I just think they're a little overrated in my book. And don't be mad at me if to all the fans out there, if you love those movies, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's not for me.
You're entitled.
Some people like chocolate chips on their ice cream. Some people like sprinkles. And it's not my sprinkles.
Hey, I like it. I don't so much have movies that I despise. There's just one person, and it's nothing against her. She may be the sweetest person on the planet. And you already kind of mentioned it, but Katherine Heigl, I just don't like her romantic comedy movies. You said it with the Ugly Truth. Mm-hmm. She was also in Life as We Know It with Jonathan DeMille, I believe it is.
Yeah, Josh Duhamel.
Yeah,
I love him.
And I love that movie where they take the parents
That's
die.
the only good part about it, though. But she's just not great in it. I don't know what it is, and I was never really into Grey's Anatomy because now we're like 20 seasons in and like 2 million episodes, so I couldn't really get into it. If I tried.
You like Knocked Up.
Yeah, Knocked Up's not bad.
And there's one that she's in.
To me, I actually think Knocked Up is a little bit more overrated.
Bro, there's one that she's in that Courtney was watching a few weeks ago where she's like a bounty hunter or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it Unforgettable?
I don't know. That movie was fucking terrible. Terrible.
But yeah, like 27 Dresses and all that other shit. I don't know. And like I said, Knocked Up, that's probably if I had to say an overrated rom-com. And I mean, love Seth Rogen, love what you're doing. I like the movie, but I don't think it's as great as people make it out to be.
I like all the people around them.
Yes.
I don't like them. You know what I mean? When I watch it for Paul Rudd, Leslie Mann. I watch it for Siegel, where he's like always hitting on Leslie Mann, Jonah Hill. The whole fucking cast besides them is great.
Ooh, that's terrible, right?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of the dude of the one that he ends up dating Vincent Chase's wife in Entourage. That movie.
She's out of your league or whatever.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That one was kind of cute.
That's a good one.
That's actually pretty
That's
cute.
a really good. Yeah. In like TJ Miller plays the sidekick.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good. They're the TSA guys. Yeah, that's actually pretty.
Yeah,
good.
that one is good. And I can't think of his name. I think it's like Jay Baruchel.
Jay Baruchel. He's the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yes. Yep. So yeah. That's my list. So going back to what we were going to talk about earlier, and we have a new segment that we're going to present to you here in just a minute. So we'll start with Nicole. If you were to direct a rom-com, what two people would you like to put together?
Let me think.
You want me to go first while you think?
Well, so I have the men picked out, but the women not so much.
Okay, so let's start there, and then maybe while you're talking, it'll come to you.
Maybe. Okay, so I guess when you're thinking of like a funny romantic movie, you want someone endearing and someone who also has a very good sense of humor. So of course, Adam Sandler, he's very lovable, and he just has a way of kind of like, I don't know. He makes you fall in love with him by watching, because you're just watching him like come on to someone and you're like, oh my God, that is sweet. But he's very funny about it. It's like
he's sort of aw shucks, I love him. He seems like a very humble guy. He wears sweatpants while he sits courtside at like he'll pay $10,000 for a ticket and then he's there in sweatpants. So he's just, I don't know, man, very genuine.
And he puts his wife in every movie, and I think that is so
and his boys, like he is the definition of like, if I eat, we're all gonna eat.
Yeah.
And I mean, all his friends.
Yeah. Buscemi. I mean, Spade. Literally everybody.
All those Happy Madison guys that are in all those movies. I mean, those are like his friends.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, why not do what you love with your friends and your people around? Plain and simple.
Yeah, who said you can't, right? And then Ryan Reynolds, because he's so hot and so funny. Like, that's not even fair. Females, I don't know. I kind of like Natalie Portman is super cute.
Love her.
She's super cute, and she has a really adorable sense of humor too. And I like Sandra Bullock.
Love her. I love Sandra Bullock. I think Sandra Bullock is so hot. Like so underrated hot. Like I don't think people appreciate how hot Sandra Bullock really
I
is.
loved her in Miss Congeniality. Was one of my favorite movies with her.
The Proposal, where she plays like a
honestly,
bitch.
she's got both. It's both her and Ryan Reynolds. I love the movie.
Yeah.
I just don't really think they're a good.
They didn't have
match.
great chemistry, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But I think they pulled it off okay. Because technically, if you think about it, like for a certain portion of that movie, they kind of weren't supposed to have chemistry, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's really hard to kind of flip that switch because usually you can kind of see it coming from a mile away in the movie. Like, okay, these two are going to get together, right? So I think they did a really good job of like not having chemistry.
Creating something out of nothing.
To the point where it was hard to kind of flip that switch halfway through the movie.
It was too hard to switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are some really good.
I couldn't help myself.
That's what she said.
There are some movies where you start that the hate thing, and then it goes into love.
Yeah.
But that one I didn't really do it for me.
Yeah.
So maybe those two not maybe in the same movie, but
Okay. That's good. I like it. You want me to go?
Yeah.
So the problem with my guys, so every great rom-com has, and it's both for males and females, you have the lead with like their best friend or sidekick that's like giving them advice or like going through it with them. So I would like, and you talked about Ryan Reynolds. I don't know. So it's either this. So Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling. One plays the lead. One plays like the best friend who's helping him. It doesn't matter. They could both do either. I would probably like Reynolds to be the lead with Gosling being sort of the smart ass, like side guy giving him advice. But that right there is perfect. And then Mila Kunis. I would love to see a Ryan Reynolds, Mila Kunis rom-com with Whitney Cummings as Mila Kunis' sidekick. Remember when I was down there, you're like, who? And I'm like, nope, not telling you.
That's a good
I love Whitney Cummings.
She is great.
Love her. She's on Howard Stern all the time. She is great. She's funny. She's fierce. She's outspoken. But Sarah Silverman's another one I think that could very easily do that sort of strong sidekick role. So Ryan Reynolds, Mila Kunis with Gosling and Whitney Cummings as the sidekicks.
Ooh, bringing
I don't know
heat.
if both Ryans can be in the same movie.
Listen to me.
That's a little overwhelming.
I hear you.
Are they selling sex toys at the movie theater at the same time?
Yeah. What kind of deal are we going with here?
I mean, you'd go.
Yeah. Golly. But Ryan Gosling is more of a drama. I think he's not. I mean, I'm sure he could probably play some humor, but he's more drama.
Have you seen The Good Guys?
Yes, I've seen The Good Guys and The Notebook and
But
everything.
hold on, The Good Guys is like a comedy, but like cop movie with him and Russell Crowe. I mean, I think he does comedy pretty good. But you're right. I like him better in serious roles for sure. I love Ryan Gosling.
I do too.
I don't know. I mean, I already called him handsome, and was this? And
is that all you got?
God, I mean, what else do you need? He's handsome and talented.
Ryan's microphone got like 3 feet higher all of a sudden.
Well, the problem, listen, man, like there is this like gene lottery that we all go through when we're created, and like to be handsome and talented,
You want it,
right? Like, God. Anyway.
Before I get into mine, I do want to, after you guys started talking, I wrote this one down. And I think I mentioned this the other day. It was on Netflix or something like that. The Change Up with Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman, where they piss into the fountain, they switch lives or whatever. It's kind of a romantic comedy. That one's good. Make sure you check that out. So I decided to do kind of like a New Year's Eve, Valentine's Day, he's not that into you kind of thing, like a mega cast. Like sexy people. Like sex toys may have to be sold in the theater.
The
for
story
this cast.
inside the story, and everything's kind of connected,
intertwine. Maybe they're friends, maybe they're not friends, maybe they meet up. So I'm going to start off with the guys here that I have for this cast. So Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh my God,
Jason Momoa, Ryan Gosling. And then for like your everyday kind of dude, I got to throw an everyday kind of dude in there. I'm going with Kevin Hart because he's just funny as shit.
Yeah, he's short.
Yeah, you can't have all like just muscle bound dudes. You got to also have Kevin Hart.
Plus, him and The Rock are pretty funny together.
They are great. They are fantastic.
Great.
And then so on the female side, and I didn't really want to choose who's going to be with who. So like I said, maybe this will be another topic for later. So I got Ava Mendes, Sandra Bullock, Mila Kunis, Rashida Jones. Love some Rashida Jones. And then Jennifer Aniston.
Okay.
So I'm saying the girls will be pleased. Guys will be pleased. Like, this is the perfect date movie, period.
Well, Eva Mendes and Ryan Gosling are married,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Or they have kids and stuff together.
Yeah.
God.
I think they're married.
What a great looking
Oh,
couple.
they got the lot. Those kids got the lottery.
Well, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively.
They got the lottery.
Yeah. And I mean, think about
Wasn't
Ryan Reynolds' timeline.
Wasn't he married to Scarlett Johansson
Scarlett
too?
Johansson, before that, he was either dating, I don't think he was married to, but he was dating Alanis Morissette.
Morissette.
So,
Man, that motherfucker.
slaying
Yes,
him.
I'm
Like
sure.
Ryan Reynolds, Derek Jeter, like good God.
Derek Jeter in the gift basket.
Jesus.
So as we wrap up the rom-com round, we are going to start a new thing on every episode of the show. We're going to do this for ourselves, especially when we have guests on. I'm going to let our man, Captain Cleveland, the love doctor himself, Ryan Saba, tell you what's going to happen.
Oh, so I'm going to describe this. So a friend of mine that I used to work with, we would, when we were traveling or whatever, and we were sitting in airports, we would play this game called Death is Not an Option, where we would basically give each other two options. You know, most of the times it was like sex, but it would be like, you know, we'd be sitting in an airport and there'd be like, you know, two people sitting there and you'd be like, which one would you rather have sex with? And the reality is it's like, well, sometimes the two options are so bad that you're like, you know what, I'd rather just die. And then we'd say, well, death is not an option. So that's the name of the game, and that's how it works. You get two options. Neither of them are great. And you have to pick one because death is not an option.
Do we have to explain it, or can we just move on?
So, and I will say
I'm
this
not gonna
too.
say
I
what.
did for this round. This is a little bit more PG, where it's more like you really do have to pick one or the other. So it's not like having your dick chopped off or having like missing an arm. Like, we're gonna get into that later. For this one, I wanted to at least keep somewhat PG since we're doing a rom-com episode. Like, we might have some listeners that we've never had before. I didn't want to be like, would you rather have 10 penises or like 18 vaginas? You know? So we'll save that for our raunchier episodes. But I just didn't want to get everybody's hopes up. Like, oh yes, like shit's about to go down. But still, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to pick one.
So who's going
Let's
first?
do this.
Ladies first.
All right,
Nicole,
all right,
glad to
all
have you
right.
back. Pick one out of the hat.
All right. Who wrote this?
Me. I wrote them all. Sorry. Do you need me to spell it out for you?
Oh, this is adorable. PlayStation 2 or Xbox?
Original Xbox.
PlayStation 2.
Gotcha. Any rationale behind that?
None. Move on.
Is it me?
It's on Saba.
This is a good one.
Which one you got?
Homelander or Thanos?
Ooh.
You motherfucker. In what context?
Like, one's got to go. You got to stick with one. Like, one's going to be your home.
Are they on my team?
Yep.
Is it regular Thanos or Infinity Gauntlet Thanos?
Infinity Gauntlet Thanos.
Look, Homelander's a bad motherfucker, right? Like, he's bad dude, and he does a lot of things really, really great. But Infinity Gauntlet Thanos is where it's at. I gotta have him.
There you go. There you go. I like it. There's no wrong answer here. You just got to pick one. Let's see which one I got.
Sorry, but that was a good one.
I'm glad you got that one. So mine is Rage Against the Machine or Audio Slave.
I wouldn't have been able to answer that.
This one,
Because I don't know.
I'm going just because of the fact that I grew up on them. I love them. Even though Audio Slave is one of my favorite kind of like quote unquote, you know, when people were doing super bands or bands would get together. Still one of my favorites. I think Chris Cornell matched up great with Tom Morello and the rest of the group from Rage Against the Machine. But I got to go with Zach and the original Rage, though. Even though Audio Slave is a fantastic band, their first album was amazing. But I just love to this day Rage Against the Machine.
I love these questions, man. This is great.
Yeah, I like this. It's something to give people, at home. Let us know.
Yeah.
Give us some this or that questions too. So, and we want to hear your feedback out of the ones that we did. Which one would you have chose out of all those? So again, thank you guys so much for listening, and gals out there, and to our international fans. I don't know if you, I know we have not seen you in a while, Nicole, and we're so glad to have you back, but we now have like a big fan base in Germany.
Yay, Deutschland.
Yeah, and for the water cooler, we're getting a lot of like United Kingdom, France, Sweden. We're getting people from other countries. So shout out to the Believe Podcast Network for pushing us out there. Yeah. Appreciate it.
Well,
Dankeschön.
There you go. I was like, yes.
It's like, no.
And gracias and everything else in every other language. Thank you for listening.
All them things.
But before we get off, though, Saba, about the water cooler, tell them where they can find you
at WC Sports Pod, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find us there. We're available on all streaming platforms, iTunes, Google Podcasts. It's myself, Luke Crocker. We talk about sports. We're getting better every week.
Yes, you are.
It's fun. It's a little bit challenging, right? Because to prepare a weekly sports show, these guys that go on the radio every single day and talk for 4 hours, it's nuts.
Crazy.
It's nuts. So just doing it once a week. But, we appreciate the continued support. We appreciate all the feedback. Make sure you follow, and subscribe.
There you go. Make sure you check out the Water Cooler. You can find both of our podcasts, Water Cooler as well as Zero Dark Nerdy, on the Believe Podcast Network. That is BLEAV.com. Of course, Zero Dark Nerdy is on popculturepodcast.com, courtesy of our awesome friends over at Zibster. That is ZIBSTER. Subscribe, follow, all that fun stuff. To our fans here in the States, fans across the world, thank you again so much for listening. Nicole, I was going to say Brian. Nicole, Ryan, thanks for being on. And we'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye.
Arrested for what, babe? Being awesome?
Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.
You know when you're listening to a true crime story that has an unbelievable plot twist that makes you stop in your tracks? That's what our podcast, People Are the Worst, brings you with each episode. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rebecca. We're identical twins who love true crime cases that make you say, didn't see that coming, and we hate the people responsible for them. Listen to People Are the Worst now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.